That's impossible, Sarah whispered, but something in Victor's voice made her doubt creep in. Now you know why I can't just show everyone. Why I can't prove Brad wrong. It's not about me, it's about keeping people alive. Before Sarah could respond, they heard voices in the hallway. Brad and his friends were approaching the study room. "He's got to be here somewhere," Brad was saying. "Check every room." Sarah acted quickly, grabbing her things. "Quick, out the back door. I'll distract them." Victor slipped out just as Brad entered the room. Sarah pretended to be studying alone. Well, Brad smirked. "Just the person I wanted to see. Made your decision yet?" "Yes," Sarah stood up facing him. "I decide you're a pathetic bully who picks on others because you're insecure about your own worthless life." Brad's face darkened. "Wrong choice, sweetheart. Boys, get her phone. Let's see what the dean thinks about her little business." But as his friends moved towards Sarah, she smiled. "Go ahead. While you were threatening me, I went to the dean myself, confessed everything. You have no power over me anymore." Brad's face contorted with rage. He grabbed Sarah's arm roughly. "You think you're so smart? Fine. If you won't help us get to Mask Boy, we'll make him come to us." Hidden behind a bookshelf, Victor heard Sarah's cry of pain. Without thinking, his hand moved to his mask. Victor's hand trembled on his mask. He could stop Brad instantly, save Sarah. But at what cost? The thought of deliberately causing death, even to someone like Brad, made him sick to his stomach. "Let her go." Victor stepped out from behind the bookshelf. Brad grinned, still gripping Sarah's arm. "Finally, the man of mystery himself. Ready to show us what you're hiding?" "This is between you and me," Victor said, his voice steady despite his fear. "Let Sarah go." "Or what?" Brad laughed. "You'll keep hiding behind that mask? Jason, grab him. Let's end this game." As Jason moved forward, Sarah stomped hard on Brad's foot and twisted free. "Run, Victor," she shouted. But Victor didn't run. "No more running," he said quietly. "No more hiding." Brad shoved Sarah aside and advanced on Victor. "That's right. Time to face me like a man. You want to see?" Victor's hand moved to his mask. "Are you sure?" Last chance to walk away. "Stop trying to scare me." Brad lunged forward. "Victor, don't!" Sarah cried out. "He's not worth it." Time seemed to slow down. Victor saw Brad's massive hands reaching for his mask, saw Sarah's terrified face, saw the phones recording everything. In that moment, he made his choice. Victor ducked under Brad's grab and spun away. "You're right, Sarah. He's not worth it, and I'm not a killer." "Coward!" Brad roared, charging again, but this time Sarah stuck out her foot. Brad, his own momentum betraying him, tripped and crashed hard into a bookshelf. Books rained down as the shelf tipped over, creating a domino effect. The crash brought campus security running. "What's going on here?" The security guard took in the scene, the toppled bookshelves, the crowd with phones. Brad sprawled among the fallen books. "He attacked us," Sarah said firmly, pointing at Brad. "We have it all on video, multiple videos actually, including him threatening me earlier." Brad tried to protest, but the evidence was overwhelming. Between the videos of his threats and the testimony of multiple witnesses, even his father's money couldn't save him this time. The university had no choice but to expel him. Later that evening, Victor and Sarah sat in a quiet corner of the campus coffee shop. "I still can't believe you didn't." Sarah trailed off. "Show my teeth?" Victor's eyes crinkled above his mask. He was smiling. "I've spent my whole life protecting others from my curse. I couldn't become a killer just because someone deserved it." "But how did you know I wouldn't betray your secret? When you told me about your teeth, you took a huge risk." Victor was quiet for a moment. "Sometimes you have to trust someone, and you proved today that I chose the right person to trust." Sarah reached across the table and squeezed his hand. "Your teeth may be deadly, but your heart is what matters most." Over the next few months, things changed at the university. Without Brad's bullying presence, other students who had been hiding or afraid began to come out of their shells. Victor, while still wearing his mask, found himself making more friends. People stopped questioning why he covered his face and accepted him for who he was. Victor still wore his mask, still had to be careful every day of his life. But he was no longer alone. He had found something he never thought possible: true friendship, acceptance, and the strength to face his challenges without compromising who he was. Sarah kept his secret, understanding that true friendship wasn't about knowing everything about someone, but about accepting them as they are. She never asked to see his teeth, never pressured him about his mask. Instead, she saw past all that to the person he really was. And if sometimes, when Victor laughed particularly hard at one of their study group's jokes, a slight golden gleam escaped from behind his mask, well, his friends politely pretended not to notice. After the library incident, Victor and Sarah began spending more time together. Their friendship grew deeper, but something else was growing too. Feelings that neither of them dared to acknowledge at first. During one late-night study session, Sarah looked up from her textbook to find Victor staring at her. "Do I have something on my face?" she asked, smiling. "No," Victor said softly. I've never met anyone like you, Sarah. Someone who accepts me exactly as I am." Sarah felt her heart skip a beat. "Victor, But he quickly looked away. "I'm sorry, I can't ever..." "Why not?" "You know why?" His voice was heavy with sadness. "I can never have a normal relationship, never kiss someone, never smile at them without killing them. It's better if we stay just friends." But Sarah wasn't giving up so easily. "How do you know?" "Your parents can see your teeth without dying." Maybe love makes a difference." Victor shook his head. "I can't risk it. I can't risk you." Despite his protests, their feelings continued to grow. Other students noticed how Sarah could make Victor's eyes crinkle with hidden smiles above his mask, how she seemed to understand his unspoken thoughts, how they gravitated toward each other in any room. One evening, while they were walking through the campus garden, Sarah stopped suddenly. "I love you," she said simply. Victor froze. "Sarah, please don't..." "No, listen to me. I love you, not despite your difference, but all of you, exactly as you are, and I'm tired of pretending I don't." "I love you too," Victor admitted, his voice breaking. "That's why I have to stay away. I couldn't live with myself if anything happened to you." Sarah stepped closer. "Your parents can see your teeth because they love you unconditionally, right?" "Well, that's how I love you too." "It's too dangerous to test that theory," Victor protested, but his resolve was weakening. "Sometimes," Sarah said softly, "love is worth the risk." She reached for his mask. Victor caught her hand, his eyes wide with fear. "Sarah, no." "Trust me," she whispered, "like I trust you." Slowly, trembling, Victor let her lower his mask. His golden teeth gleamed in the evening light. Sarah gazed at them, and at his entire face, for the first time. Seconds passed. Sarah remained standing, very much alive, her eyes filled with tears of joy. "They're beautiful," she said, touching his cheek, "just like the rest of you." As they kissed for the first time, something extraordinary happened. Victor felt a tingling sensation in his mouth, a warmth spreading through his teeth. When they finally pulled apart, Sarah gasped, "Victor, your teeth!" He ran his tongue over them and felt something different. Where once there had been deadly gold, now there were normal, perfectly white teeth. The curse had been broken by true love. When Victor called his parents to tell them what happened, his mother broke down crying with joy. They drove to the university that very night to see their son's transformed smile for themselves. "My boy," his mother sobbed, touching his face freely for the first time in his life. "You're free." His father, usually so composed, had tears in his eyes too. "We always hoped. We read so many stories about curses being broken by true love, but we didn't dare believe." Sarah stood slightly apart, giving the family their moment, but Victor reached for her hand and pulled her close. "This is Sarah," he said, beaming with his new perfect smile. "She saw past everything and loved me exactly as I was." The study group was amazed when Victor showed up without his mask the next day. Emma almost fell out of her chair. "Victor, your face, you're actually really handsome." Mike couldn't stop grinning. "Dude, why are you smiling so much? It's kind of freaking me out." "Because I can," Victor laughed, and for the first time in his life, he didn't have to hold back. News spread quickly around campus. Some people didn't believe the stories about his golden teeth, thinking he'd just been shy or insecure before. Others who remembered the gleam of gold behind his mask wondered what had happened. But Victor didn't care about the rumors anymore. He was too busy enjoying every simple pleasure he'd missed out on, eating ice cream in public, laughing openly with friends, smiling in photos. He and Sarah graduated at the top of their class. During the ceremony, when they were called up to give their valedictorian speeches they had tied for the honor, Victor's smile was brighter than his golden teeth had ever been. 5 years later, at their wedding, Victor's vows made everyone cry. "Sarah, you didn't just love me despite my curse. You loved me so completely that the curse had no choice but to let go. You taught me that love doesn't just accept what is. Sometimes it has the power to transform it into something better." Today, Victor and Sarah run a successful research laboratory together, working on breakthrough medicines. Sometimes, late at night in their lab, Sarah catches Victor just standing there, smiling at nothing in particular. "What are you grinning about?" she'll ask. "Just happy," he'll reply, pulling her close. "Sometimes I still can't believe I get to smile whenever I want." And Sarah will touch his cheek and say, "Well, you have a lot of smiles to make up for. Better keep at it." The gold teeth became a story they told their children, a reminder that love has the power to transform even the heaviest burdens into blessings. And while their kids sometimes doubted whether the golden teeth were real or just a fairy tale their parents made up, they never doubted the lesson behind it, that true love sees past all barriers, accepts all differences, and sometimes, just sometimes, has the power to turn curses into gifts. As for Victor, he never missed his golden teeth. His natural smile, the one that could light up a room without harming anyone, was worth more than all the gold in the world. Because this smile he could share with everyone he loved, especially the woman who had loved him enough to break an unbreakable curse. The end. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the story so far, please drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you won't miss any updates. Thank you, and remember, we love you.